2 minutes, 2 minutes. Un momento, por favor. Hello, friends, and welcome to the final Wildflower Wednesday of March 2022. This fabulous experience is brought to you by Friends of the Desert Mountains in conjunction with the City of Palm Desert, the 29 Palms Band of Mission Indians, and the Agua Caliente Band of Cahuilla Indians. Those are our sponsors for the Coachella Valley Wildflower Festival, an annual event that Friends of the Desert Mountains does in Palm Desert. We're at like 15 years with this. It happens the first weekend of March, and next year that will be March 4th in 2023, March 4th in 2023, and we hope that you will join us. Now, Wildflower Wednesday is about wildflowers. That is 100% true. I'm going to tell you from my own personal experience and adventures, as well as check out a couple of hotlines and references that are available to everybody
on the internet, or actually I think one or two of them you can actually call in and you can find wildflowers on your own. And of course, I always recommend using iNaturalist, who should be a sponsor for us at this point. But iNaturalist is a great way to find out what flower you are looking for and where you can find it near you. So highly recommend that. Now, I've been promising that this would be kind of a special one. We've done some other adventures here, but I took a special drive out this week to Coachella, and I will tell you about that in just a minute, because I know that you probably want to hear about the wildflowers first. And the Coachella thing is really intense, and I really like it, so I can't wait to share that with you. But before I start, you guys are probably wondering what you're seeing on the screen here. This is Friends of the Desert Mountains land acknowledgement. Land acknowledgements are, whoops, come back now, are our statement acknowledging that the lands that we protect here belong to somebody and supported human life for time immemorial before Europeans, which I am part of, ever got here. And so, in the spirit of truth and reconciliation, Friends of the Desert Mountains acknowledges that we occupy the traditional territory of the Cahuilla people of Coachella Valley. This land continues to be home to the Cahuilla people, whom we recognize as stewards of the land and vital contributors of our society. We acknowledge the Cahuilla people's connection to this land and appreciate the opportunity to live, learn, and recreate on their traditional homelands. We honor the Cahuilla caretakers of these lands and waters before us, the Cahuilla people of today, and the many generations to come. And that all ties in to everything that we do here, because stewarding the land is what Friends of the Desert Mountains is about. So on that note, let's start talking about flowers and see what we can find. All righty, bring this over here. Okay, but first, you're going to have to hear about it. Yes, 30 by 30 by 30 is almost done. It is almost done. We have had we have so many wonderful participants. I think we've got about 43, 50 people somewhere in that realm who have gone out there and guaranteed and committed and said that they would walk or move or run or roll, however it is that they do it, except for a car, 30 miles in 30 days and donate $30. It's not really that hard to do, people. And lots of awesome people did it. Now, our activity leaders, these are the people who did like the most miles. Seriously. These are where you get points for how many miles that you did. And Pam Hilliard, seriously, did you really do 220 miles this month? That is amazing. I believe it. I believe it. Glenn Jones, Nancy Hickson, Jack, I believe it. Teresa, for sure. You guys, great job. We thank you all. You managed to raise quite a bit of money for us, and you got the word out. So you know what happens now. You win the t-shirts. Yes, you get the t-shirts. The wonderful hot pink, well, Heliconia pink Wildflower Festival t-shirts. I have one back there, but I forget that you guys can't see because of my fabulous screen background, which I made myself with somebody else's picture. But thank you for letting me use that. And that is pretty much wrapping up 30 by 30 by 30. We will be getting you your t-shirts. Thank you for doing this. It means the world to us, because when you're out there having a good time, that's half of our job. We're already winning at that point. So thank you to everybody who has done that. And I'm wondering, because I took that off the screen, did you guys not get to see it? That would be so awkward for everybody involved. Karen. That's my name. I'm a Karen. It's awkward for everybody. Yes, here are our activity leaders. Everybody did such a good job. The top teams, really? The Banditos on the top team. Nicely done. But of course, our Canyon Cougars. Way to go, ladies. Nicely done. T's team, I know who that is. Way to go, Teresa. Our La Quinta ladies and friends. And of course, awesome Driscoll family. Good job on our teams. 30 by 30 is done. Our raffle is also concluded. The 3 items that got a redraw have already been picked up. Somebody got that bicycle and it wasn't me, so that is okay. I will live with that. But this is just about it. We are wrapping it up. The Wildflower Festival for 2022 is done. Well, when I'm done this afternoon, but for now, it's off your screen. But the next thing I want to bring up, which again, I'm hoping everybody is seeing this, not just me. Friends of the Desert Mountains store. We have an online store. And of course, you can now come up Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, where the Santa Rosa and San Jacinto Mountains National Monument Visitor Center is open, open, open. Yes, they are open during the daytime, and you can come up here and shop in the store in person there, or you can shop in our online store that I'm showing you now. If you go to desertmountains.org and click on shop, at our store, everything currently, I need to put a banner up here. That's my job. I'll get to it, but I'll be loud enough to tell you now. Everything in the store here and at the visitor center, 25% off. Spring cleaning. This is your chance to come up here and get the books that you want, the hats that you want, these great shirts. We have terrific hiking shirts, which as we head into the, blistering season, it's very good to have a long sleeve SPF wicking shirt. A moisture wicking shirt, and we sell some of those up here. So come on up and check out the store. You can shop online and we will get it to you, or if you shop online and you live locally, you can come and pick it up. We will make this happen. We need to clear out that inventory. Our store hasn't been open for a while, so we're really happy to have that back. And that also means that Bureau of Land Management and Forest Service staff are back at the visitor center. They can answer your questions. You want to know where wildflowers are? Come up here this weekend and ask them. They probably know better than I do, but I'm going to try it anyhow. It's like Emily in Paris. This is Karen in Coachella. All right, coming up is where to find the wildflowers. I think I turned you people on to some of these last week, but the Anza Borrego Foundation has a weekly posting of where to find wildflowers. And look, what do we see right here? Desert verbena. Yes, it's so pink and so beautiful, and that is probably the hottest color I'm seeing right now, besides yellow, 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 and yellow. There's also a couple of white flowers and a few purple flowers, but heavily yellow. It did rain this week, rain as much as we ever get here in the desert. Usually it gets more rain and has lower temperatures up at the north end at Palm Springs, so that will impact them more. Have you been around to the Snow Creek area? There's wildflowers there. Yes, if you go around to the Snow Creek area, which is kind of the north end of town, follow 111 out, turn off, go to Snow Creek. There's wildflowers up there, an easy hike that's accessible for a lot of people. You're going up, but it is paved for a while. And then you run into actually the Pacific Crest Trail up there. So you can say that you walked a little part of the Pacific Crest Trail, looked at wildflowers, and you were a rock star, which you should probably just tell people in general anyhow. Rock star. So this is Anza Borrego, and let's see what they have to say. Oh, flowers or no flowers? We're getting a lot of questions about whether or not there will be a super bloom this year. Anza Borrego received a mere 3.7 inches of rain during the past 18 months. I can assure you that Coachella Valley has gotten less than that. We see it come down out of the sky and then it just kind of evaporates. It's kind of like a hopeful thing, but that's why we always tell you there's more wildflowers and they come up earlier in the season. If you go into the higher elevations down here in the desert, we have not had a lot of rain, but gosh darn it, our flowers are trying. So please feel free to support them. Here is Anza Borrego's. You can check out, here is their hotline if you want to call. I did tell you we have low-tech phone options, and you can call 760-767-4684. That is 760-767-4684, and you will be able to get the latest update on what you can find. Anza Borrego is the desert in between us and San Diego, so it's a great way to just keep following out Highway 74. If you come up to the visitor center, we're on Highway 74, last house on the left, and then you go back out, you'll be heading over to Anza Borrego to check out what flowers they have. Coming up next, the Theodore Payne Wildflower Hotline. I've told you guys about this before. It is a really handy place to figure out what's going on in Southern and Central California. So it's not just our area. If you're driving up a little bit further north, they have some as well. I am not going to play this out loud because I'm not sure of the copyright on that and I want to respect it. But you can go to theodorepayne.org and then you will be able to find their wildflower hotline. I believe it's under Learn. No, Karen. No. I don't know where it is. Somehow I managed to find it. It's under Learn. There it is. It is under Learn. I can tell by the URL. So yes, here's the Wildflower Hotline for Theodore Payne, Theodorepayne.org, Theodore Payne, and you can go there and click on Learn and then listen to the current Wildflower Hotline. And I believe it's some famous guy with a great voice who says it. So you should enjoy that. And that's so lucky that they have that. Now, coming up next, as I have said, I'm a friend. I'm a fan. I'm a friend also. I am a fan of iNaturalist. It's a great way to identify plants and flowers and animals, all the things around you. There can be some exciting moments for people like me who I posted a picture last week, and I remember sharing that with you guys of Perry's Beard's Tongue. It's a picture that I took, and it is a cultivated plant. That particular one was, and apparently it's, at first everybody was like, oh my gosh, this is so gorgeous, this is like research grade, you're going to be awesome. And then once they found out it was cultivated, I got taken down a notch, and it is no longer research grade, but it is still a casual observation. It's still useful for people. I learned what it is, and I had a whole conversation with a bunch of smart people. So don't ever worry about using your technology, your iNaturalist, to figure out a plant that you just want to know. I've done it with plants in my yard and everything. If it's not research grade or it's not appropriate, technology, the algorithm, and the people who are on it will clarify that for you. So don't even worry about it, but it's still fun to do. I'm just saying. So that being said, here on iNaturalist is actually a Coachella Valley wildflower research project where people have been contributing their observations. This is from our friends at Cactus to Cloud organization, and they have look at all the wildflowers that you can expect to find, and they're actually finding them. That's why these pictures are here. These are current. This is this year. All of these things have been found. So, and they don't necessarily go take the pictures of them in a garden like I do, but look at all of the wonderful stuff that's here. Some of them very familiar to us. Desert dandelion. I mean, how many times have I brought that up? Brittle bush, woot, creosote, she's up there. The desert sand verbena, distant phacelia. You know what? If you come visit here at the visitor center, this is growing along the side of our driveway right now. So as you're walking up to the visitor center, you cannot miss seeing that. I think there might be some little brown eyes there too. The desert globe mallow, there's one right behind the visitor center. Arizona lupin. We don't have any of that right here, but we certainly have the tuberosa, the beaver tail, desert lavender. All of this stuff is doing really well here. So, oh, and the desert chicory. I found that one of those out there last week too. Fremont's pincushion, Spanish needle, all of those. All of that is here. So if you want to see these flowers and come check them out, this is a great place to do it at the Santa Rosa San Jacinto Mountains National Monument. It's long to say, but it's so perfect when we have this great volunteer, Ada Knuckles. I think everybody here knows Ada Knuckles. She is our volunteer who coordinates all of our hikes. And Ada has this great way of telling people where the monument is. She always starts with the San Jacinto Mountain, which is, on the north end that most people are familiar with because that's where the tram is. And then she spreads her arms wide because the monument goes all the way from San Jacinto to Santa Rosa, and it feels like you're just hugging the mountains. It's kind of perfect. So flowers all up in there. Please go check them out, and always remember to recreate responsibly. Only step on bare ground or don't leave the path, and certainly don't pick the flowers. Take only photographs, and don't leave too many footprints if it's going to step on a flower. but really enjoy them, savor them. There are other ways to experience them. You can touch the plants and see how they feel, the flowers themselves, the stems. Excuse me. Maybe rub the leaf or the petal a little bit with your fingers so that you can get the scent from it. Use all your senses and enjoy what nature is giving us. Savor this moment. Connect to the land. It will bring you what you're looking for. I'm just going to say that. So thank you to everybody. This has been our wildflower report. Oh, wait, one more. I will say I went out personally and I drove down to Coachella. I didn't see a lot happening down there, but it was also a very sandy, blowy day, so it might have been covering them up. Spring doesn't come down there as soon as it comes from the north end. And speaking of the north end, I went up to the Windmill Farm tour this past Sunday, courtesy of the Windmill Farms. They actually invited our LGBTQ positive youth hiking group that we have been starting with from East Indio, and we're trying to get these young people out and teach them about green career paths and just kind of give them a chance to connect to the land. That's what we do. But we had some friends up at the windmills and they invited us up and gave us a special walking around VIP tour where everybody got a chance to check it out. We didn't want to go, too far, too crazy. And afterwards, the youths actually went up to Whitewater and had lunch and got to know each other more. This is a brand new group. If you want to know more about it, just contact us here at Friends of the Desert Mountains, which is friends@Desert Mountains is our email address. If you would like to know more about any of our hiking, we have adaptive hiking groups that take out people with mobility issues, developmental disabilities, any of that kind of fun stuff. And we have a great time with them. That's pretty much every other Saturday in season. It's starting to get too hot to take people out to hike. So remember that we're going to be wrapping up a lot of that kind of stuff soon, but we will still have things going on. So pay attention. But if you want to know more about any of our other hiking groups or anything else that we have going on here, just contact us. Just reach out. We're friendly that way. And in that friendly that way theme, I went out on a little, I'm sorry, I'm all over the place today. It is the end of Wildflower Wednesday, and I guess I've just been sniffing too many flowers. At the windmills, there were fields of desert dandelions, a little bit of Fremont's pincushion, but the dandelions were up there. So go up, get yourself a tour, and take some pictures of the dandelions and the mountains in the background. Fresh snow up there, beautiful to see. All right, coming up next, it's kind of a heart project for me. I've been wanting to check this place out for quite a while, and I've been there a couple times now. But yeah, it's this really beautiful space. It is called the Temmelpark Farm. And we'll just start with the video, and then I'll come back and go from there. Hold on.
Earth is what we all have in common. We do not inherit the earth from our ancestors. We borrow it from our children. Every leaf, every branch, every living thing, no matter how small, it's part of an infinite patchwork woven together by nature that unites us all. We are born on this earth. We grow, play, thrive, and return to it at the end of our journeys. We are not infinite, but nature is. It's up to us to secure a healthy future for our first and only home. At Temmelpark Farm, we are committed to doing our best by our earth through sustainable farming, eco-friendly practices, and renewable energy, so that she may not only survive, but thrive for generations to come. Tamalpais Farm. From the earth, for the people.
All right, friends, let me tell you about this wonderful place, the Tamalpais Farm. It is located in Coachella, the city of Coachella, well, actually the vicinity of Coachella, and it is owned and operated by the Augustine Band of Cahuilla Indians. There are 9 federally recognized Cahuilla tribes here in our area, and Augustine Band is pretty much not only the tiniest tribe in the Coachella Valley, they're pretty much one of the smallest tribes in all of America. They are doing really amazing things, and a very small nucleus of really committed and dedicated people want to make a change in their community and for all of us. They are committed to the Tamalpais Farm, which is an organic farm. Right now, it has basically 8 acres, 8 growing acres of greens and peppers and melons, the kinds of things that actually can survive the temperatures and the UV damage that happens to vegetables and plants when you're in an intense place like where they are located, which is they are bounded by Van Buren Street, Harrison Street, 54th Avenue, and Airport. So out in Coachella, they have 1 square mile of some pretty sandy, loamy earth, but they have managed to turn that into, well, it's not just an oasis. You know, the desert is full of oases. This is a utopia for children and other living things. It's an amazing space, and it's open to the public daily. They're closed on Sunday, but every other day of the week, you can drive out there and you'll come up. It's not hard to miss. You see the image that you're seeing now on your screen. That is their logo for the farm, and you will see it alongside the road, and you'll drive up Roberta Street, which has a nice history to it. I'm actually going to do a longer, bigger video project on this. They were so awesome in accommodating me to come there and film and video, but sometimes life just gets away from you, and I did not get the full video project done, but I will. And I still just want to tell you about meeting these people and sharing what they want to share with the rest of us, which is eat organically, live with a small carbon footprint, live sustainably. I don't even know where to begin. They had actually almost come to extinction. They were down to very few living people who could trace their lineage back to Vivi Augustine, who is their patriarch, if you will, and they were able to figure out who was still connected to him. And Roberta moved out here, and I believe she brought her daughter, who brought her children and some cousins, and those original 7 people are the 7 feathers that you see represented by the Tamalpais Farm logo. And then when you go there, you're going to see this wonderful mound that they have built up that has these wonderful sculptures that are made out there, which also have a history. And I don't want to tip off too much. You just have to go and see it. You're going to love it. And they have a market that is open. So you can go in and buy some of the vegetables that they have either grown on the farm or that they have brought in from other producers. And they've tried to do trade with some of other indigenous cultures around here. They work with a tribe in Mexico and bring up some of the vegetables from there that are still totally certified organic. And they're working on doing some outreach to other indigenous peoples throughout the Southwest to kind of trade, to start doing trades. Like, you have what we want, we have what you want, and they're just going to try and bring it all in for everybody. And their motivation behind this is so awesome. I mean, yes, it's making sure that they are self-sufficient, but they recognized a need in East Coachella Valley for organic, healthy food options. There's barely any grocery stores out there anyhow, and affordable organic food that gets people interested in eating right it's just a beautiful concept, and they're really doing amazing stuff out there. I actually got to meet Ronnie Vance, who is she was just sweetness and light, honestly. She is the tribal council member and the farm board chair, so she's the perfect person to talk to. She has lots of ideas about the things she'd like to grow, the techniques they'd like to try. And I also actually got to speak with their Louis Barriga, who is their farm consultant, and he's the one who reminds us that, you know, ancient ways lasted a long time without destroying the earth the way that sometimes modern big scale farming can. I mean, as you drive out to their farms, you pass other farms and you smell the chemicals, the pesticides and stuff. And these guys are bringing you healthy, natural fruit that it might not last as long on your shelf because it doesn't have preservatives, but it's so much better for you. So I encourage you to go out there and visit them, do a little shopping. They have some other merchandise there. They have this coffee from Chiapas that's amazing. It will get you going in the morning. That is for sure. And some other cute stuff, some merchandise. I love this. I bought a t-shirt for my wife because I thought it would look really good on her, and just had a great time. Plus they make, I think there's 6 different smoothies. They're phenomenal. I had this dragon fruit smoothie that I didn't know what to expect. And I'm like, oh, exotic fruit. I'm not sure how this is going to go. It was so good. So good. And it actually kind of matches the background of this. It is hot pink, but it was delicious. And I really appreciated the gals who made it for me. Now, all of this, and I can go on, and honestly, I will at some point in time in the future because I am going to make a video. They have citrus plants. They're going to be growing pomegranates. They already have date farms. They've got potatoes. They've got melons going on, berries. When they get their shade farming set up, they're really looking at doing some peppers. They've got cayenne, Fresno, Serrano. They got some habanero out there, Anaheim, Pasilla coming down the road. There's heirloom tomatoes, cherry tomatoes on a vine. They're looking at a couple of other tomato types they're going to do. And one of the things that they're very committed to, you've heard of farm to table? Seed to stomach. Seed to stomach. You need to know that the seed that you started with is not drenched in GMOs or chemicals or pesticides. They start with a clean seed. They grow that, and you know all the way until it gets into your little tummy that it has been organically raised with a little bit of love and brought to you by our friends at Temelpak Farm, from the earth and for the people. And the farm is really interested in education. Seriously, talk about planting seeds. The next big thing out there is they have an education department, and their educator, Nick, is amazing. He just like lights up the room when he comes in, and he is so enthusiastic about sharing knowledge, not just about plants and stuff. They actually plan to share other Cahuilla traditional knowledge and bird songs. They have so many plans for what's going to go on out there. So I hope you guys will go out there. And one of the things that you can do is you can start to order up a farm box. So you can decide how, if you go to their website, which I can take you to, if you go to their website, which is temelpakfarm.com, TEMALPAKH, temelpakfarm.com, you can actually go there and shop online. And you can set yourself up with a farm box where they decide what vegetables and stuff are going in there, vegetables and fruit. But you can also occasionally make, a little bit of a swap out if they've got something that you weren't interested in. And you can, there it is, the farm box. Look at that. You can decide what goes in your farm box, all kinds of stuff. Now, of course, they've got water and everything out there, but carrots right now, there was lots of carrots, broccoli, cauliflower. I saw some beautiful heads of purple cabbage. This is the coffee I told you about. And there is just, let's not look at those things, but we got to accommodate everybody out there. And sometimes people want a different little snack, and we have those too. But they just, it's just amazing. And you guys need to go and enjoy it. And there's actually this pollinator path that you can go walk down, and there's all kinds of hummingbirds and butterflies and bees, and talk about flowers. So many flowers, including lots of native flowers. So be sure to go and check out Temelpak Farm in Coachella as soon as you can. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. Tell them Friends of the Desert Mountains sent you. All right, let's see. I think we are just about ready to wrap it up, but I want to share one more thing with you. What are we at? 6:31. This only takes 6 minutes and 30 seconds. When you want to talk about Timelpok and eating, things that come from the earth, this is really kind of an interesting thing. This is using mesquite powder or mesquite flour, which is from the mesquite trees. They actually grind up the pods when they're dried and make a flour, and you can use that in cooking. And it's like low in sugar. It's actually good for people who have, insulin or diabetes challenges. So it's a pretty good option. Now, this is Chef Kieran from the Agua Caliente Casino and Resort. He is their head chef, and he made this for us. So I would like to share it with you now. Here we go. Brownies. Okay, they call them mesquite bars, but they're brownies.
Hi everyone, I'm Chef Kieran Fleming. I'm the executive chef here at Agua Caliente Palm Springs. And today we're out on our beautiful steakhouse patio, and I'm going to show you how to make a nice, simple, and easy mesquite bar recipe. For this recipe, you probably have a lot of these items in your cupboard. This is a can of pumpkin puree. In this recipe, you're going to use half of this can. You're going to need some honey. If you can get local honey, I highly recommend using local honey. This is baking powder, not baking soda. Make sure you use baking powder. There's a big difference. And for this recipe, I recommend you switch to whole nutmeg. It holds longer. It gives a great fresh flavor to all of your recipes. So the one item you may not have at home in your cupboard is the mesquite flour, which is in this recipe the star of the show. You can find this at specialty food stores and online. This is mesquite flour, which is made from the pods of the mesquite tree. It's ground down into a fine powder. So the first step in this recipe is we're going to start with 2/3 cup of water, 1/2 cup of honey, and 3 tablespoons of butter. And we're going to place that in a saucepan and put it on medium heat just until the butter melts. So we're going to add 2/3 cup of water, 3 tablespoons of butter, and 1/2 cup of honey.
Honey.
So after we've mixed all the ingredients, we're going to have this on a medium heat until the butter melts, and we just slowly keep stirring it so we don't scorch the butter. So after the butter is melted, this is what the mixture should look like. And you can set this aside, and then we're going to mix the flours together and then incorporate this all. Okay, so we will start with the 1.5 cups of whole wheat flour. We have the 1.5 cups of the mesquite flour. Make sure you get all of that out. This is really where a lot of the moisture comes from on these bars, otherwise it'll be kind of dry. Then we have our tablespoon of baking powder, 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, and then we're going to do about 1/8. Always use fresh nutmeg. It makes a huge difference in your recipes. And then we're just going to mix this together. I recommend you wear gloves and mix it by hand. This is a very dense batter, so it's a lot easier to mix it by hand. So just fold it over until it starts to come together a little bit. And then we're going to add the water, the honey, and the butter mixture. So just a little bit like this. So like I said, this is a very dense batter. So at some point, you're going to want to just use your hands to mix it in. It starts to stick to the spatula. And it's going to be almost like a brownie consistency, a little bit thicker consistency than a brownie. And you're going to have the urge to add water to it, but don't. Trust me, the recipe works out well. When you put it in, it'll cook up and it'll rise. There, we just incorporate all the ingredients like that. See, and it's a very thick dough. So now that we've incorporated all the ingredients, our next step is to pour this mixture into an 8x8 greased cooking pan. And it should come all out in one piece, since this batter is so dense.
That's intense.
It's very easy to work with. And all you're gonna do is lightly spread it out. And I recommend using the back of your hand. It creates a smoother surface. Make it nice and even. You want a nice even surface to cook. So now that we've got all the ingredients in, we're gonna place this in the oven for 20 minutes at 350 degrees.
Who can wait that long?
After about an hour, the mesquite bars should be cooled down enough for you to cut them into 1x1 squares and enjoy these incredible treats. So as a final touch, I like to sprinkle a little bit of powdered sugar over top. And there you have it, freshly baked mesquite bars. Thanks for joining us at the Wildflower Festival this year. I'm Executive Chef Kieran Fleming at Agua Caliente Palm Springs, and it was a pleasure cooking with you and sharing this recipe.
All right, if you want a copy of that mesquite bar recipe, just contact our friend Kate Anderson at aguacaliente-nsn.gov. Yes, Kate Anderson at Agua Caliente can hook you up with that recipe. This is just about it for Wildflower Wednesday. I'm going to stop the share for a minute. I think I'm done. Yeah, nobody needs to see that. Nobody needs to see that. Oh, okay. Two last things before I finish out. One is, if you're interested in learning more about the plants and with their traditional uses of the Cahuilla people, especially here in the Coachella Valley, I encourage you to acquire this book, Temelpoch, the Cahuilla Indian Knowledge and Usage of Plants. We don't carry it in our store yet. I'm working on that. But if you would like to get it, you can order it from the Malky Museum, or you can actually go to the Malky Museum and visit them. And if you see out here, they actually have a Temelpoch garden where they have several of the traditional plants, and they talk about the native uses of them. So depending on how far and invested you want to get into the experience, I highly encourage it. Not only will you learn more about the plants that are all around us. Hold on a second. Let me just do this really quick, because it seems silly to say that sort of thing without showing you. Everything's always so complicated. Why does it have to be that way? There it is. Plants that are around you. They're amazing. And several of them are edible and delicious and medicinal and helpful. But you need to learn how to identify, collect properly, gather them where you can legally, because it's not like you can just go and collect things when you're out here in the National Monument. That's actually not correct to do. But if you're lucky enough to have, okay, this will be my final thing for the day. This is going to be how I sign off on it all, because it's been kind of the coolest thing I learned during all of this. Ocotillo flowers are edible. Yes, you heard me. I said it right. Amazing in a salad, the flowers themselves, and then the little pistil and stamens at the very end. That is where the nectar is. I mean, you have to fight, you're going to have to battle it out with the hummingbirds in your backyard or wherever your plant is. But the flowers themselves have a little bit of a peppery bite, kind of reminding me of a nasturtium, which is also edible. And the little sugary bit on the bottom there is really delicious. The Native Americans here used to gather that up, and they would gather just those littlest bits of nectar and put them all together and let them dry. And then later on, people would enjoy that as a candy. So that's right. Flowers are edible as long as you're doing it right. And remember, recreate responsibly. Don't just help yourself to stuff. But if you have access to them in a legal manner and you want to learn more about it, check out the Tamalpaq book. Check out the Tamalpaq farm. Go out, enjoy the wildflowers. Come up here to the Santa Rosa San Jacinto Mountains National Monument Visitor Center and make a plan to come and visit us next year, March 4th, 2023 in Palm Desert Civic Center for Coachella Valley Wildflower Festival. And it's brought to you this year by City of Palm Desert, the 29 Palms Band of Mission Indians, and Agua Caliente Band of Cahuilla Indians. We're so grateful to have these partnerships with the people. We are just really pleased for that. So, friends, until next year, or whenever I see you out on the trails, this is Karen from Friends of the Desert Mountains saying, go out and enjoy the world that's around you and connect to the land.